Amidst a volatile international political landscape, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has faced one of the biggest challenges since taking office. In recent weeks, Britain's key diplomatic relationships, particularly with the US and its traditional allies, have been strained following a series of controversial decisions by the Starmer government. Former US President Donald Trump's public criticism of Starmer has raised concerns about Britain's international standing.
The UK is way out of line. We have over a $300 billion deficit. They don't take our cars, they don't take our farm products, they take almost nothing. And we take everything from them, millions of cars, tremendous amounts of food and farm products. So the UK is way out of line, and we'll see the UK, but European Union is really out of line. UK is out of line, but I'm sure I think that one can be worked out. But the European Union it's an atrocity, what they've done. Minister Starmer has been very nice. We've had a couple of meetings. We've had numerous phone calls. We're getting along very well. And we'll see whether or not we can balance out our budget. With the European Union, it's $350 billion deficit. So obviously something's going to take place there.
Trump's remarks could disrupt bilateral trade talks and security cooperation. The relationship between the two countries, considered special, is facing an unprecedented test. Trump's public call for other allies to limit cooperation with the Starmer government has further complicated the situation. The tension continued when Keir Starmer nominated Peter Mandelson as the UK's ambassador to the US. The decision was immediately opposed by Donald Trump, who described Mandelson as untrustworthy due to his close ties with Chinese businesses. According to Trump, appointing such a figure to the UK's most important diplomatic position was provocative and showed a lack of diplomatic acumen. Notably, Trump stressed that he would refuse to meet Mandelson if the nomination was approved, an unprecedented move in US-UK relations. The cold shoulder is not only coming from the US. Canada, Australia and New Zealand, important partners in the Commonwealth, have also shown a cautious stance. Leaders from these countries believe that Britain is moving away from traditional alliances to prioritise relations with the EU and China. Although Prime Minister Starmer stressed that Britain remains committed to its long-standing allies, many experts say the recent moves indicate a strategic shift in the country's foreign policy. Notably, the incident has also caused a wave of opposition within British politics. Conservative and Reform UK MPs have not missed the opportunity to criticise Starmer. They believe that worsening relations with the US, Britain's largest trading partner outside Europe, is a serious mistake. This is a time when Britain needs allies more than ever, and the Prime Minister is pushing us into isolation, said one Conservative MP. Reform UK has gone further, accusing Starmer of putting EU interests ahead of Britain's traditional relations with the Commonwealth. The situation has been further complicated by accusations of bias against China by the Starmer government. Economic ties between Britain and China have been growing rapidly in recent years, while many other Western countries are looking to reduce their dependence on the world's second-largest economy. The nomination of Peter Mandelson, who has extensive business dealings with Chinese companies, as ambassador to the United States, has raised concerns that Britain is going against broader Western efforts to contain Beijing's influence.
Trump is instinctively very, very pro-British. Labour staffers to campaign for Kamala Harris was diplomatically a very stupid thing for a newly elected Labour government to do. But the thing to remember that's important, Trump is instinctively very, very pro-British. This is the most pro-British president we've had for decades. His mum was a Scot and he loved the Queen, and all of those things actually matter.
The situation has been further complicated by accusations of bias towards China by the Starmer government. Economic ties between the UK and China have been growing rapidly in recent years, while many other Western countries are looking to reduce their dependence on the world's second-largest economy. The nomination of Peter Mandelson, who has extensive business dealings with Chinese companies, as ambassador to the US, has raised concerns that the UK is going against broader Western efforts to contain Beijing's influence. This is just the beginning of Starmer's diplomatic headaches. In just 5 months, Starmer has spent nearly a month travelling abroad. But where has he been? Brussels? Beijing? Brussels again? It's like he's on a mission to strengthen ties with the EU and China, while completely ignoring Britain's most important ally across the Atlantic. It's no surprise that eyebrows are being raised. Canada and Mexico are strengthening ties with the US, while the UK is standing on the sidelines. The Starmer government's foreign policy has also been criticised for its decision on the Chagos Islands. Britain's agreement to negotiate with Mauritius over the sovereignty of the archipelago is seen as an excessive concession. Analysts warn that this move could set a bad precedent and weaken the ability to maintain control of other overseas territories, which are of strategic importance to national security. The rift in relations with traditional allies is not only causing concerns on the international stage, but also directly affecting the British economy. One of the biggest potential consequences is the stagnation of negotiations on a free trade agreement with the US. Failure to reach an agreement as expected would cause British businesses to lose access to the US market, while reducing the competitiveness of the economy in the context of the global recovery from the pandemic. In the face of criticism, Prime Minister Starmer still defends his decisions. He believes that diversifying partnerships is necessary to ensure the UK's long-term economic security. However, Starmer also acknowledged the importance of the UK-US relationship and said he was ready to meet with the US to resolve any problems. We do not want to choose sides. The UK will continue to be a trusted partner of the US while maintaining a positive relationship with the EU and emerging economies, he said. However, many experts warn that Starmer's efforts to ease tensions may come too late. The refusal to accept an ambassador to Washington is a clear sign of the severity of this diplomatic crisis. If a solution is not found soon, the UK not only risks being isolated, but may also lose its place in important international negotiations on trade, security, and the environment. With the general election approaching, this incident is sure to become a hot topic in political debate. The Conservatives and Reform UK are taking full advantage of the situation to criticise the weakness of the Labour Party's foreign policy. Without convincing steps to correct the mistakes, Starmer's reputation and Labour's re-election chances could be seriously damaged. In short, the current diplomatic tension is a major test of Keir Starmer's leadership and strategic vision. While traditional allies are gradually turning their backs on him, the British Prime Minister needs to quickly make the right decisions to protect the country's international standing and long-term interests. Time is running out for Starmer if he wants to maintain his leadership position in these challenging times. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates on politics and society.